I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're stepping into a story of unexpected romance and musical magic with a terrific author. His name is Christopher Ratcliff, and he has penned a wonderful book, a book you'll just love. It is called Love and Karaoke. In this heartwarming tale, a shy middle-aged man ventures into a lively karaoke bar only to find himself falling head over heels for a talented singer he dubs Baby. Filled with courage, charm, and the timeless hope of love at first sight, Christopher's story proves that sometimes the best songs are the ones we live ourselves. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put him in the spotlight today, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like him by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing his amazing book. The links are below this interview. Christopher, great to see you here today on Spotlight. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me, Logan.
Great to have you on the show. It's such an original book. How did you come up with the idea? Are you a big karaoke fan or something?
Yeah, so the initially when I decided to do the book, it wasn't gonna be centered on karaoke at all. Actually,
Okay.
I wanted to just kind of focus on the new love situation, but karaoke kind of just steered the book in a totally different direction because we got so immersed in the karaoke world,
Mhm.
and so it just seemed like I had to really include that because it became sort of like a big part of our relationship, and so um yeah, the title ended up changing. It was really, I think initially the story was going to be like, our love or something like that. It was very basic, you know what I mean? And then
Gotcha.
it sort of like evolved to like love and karaoke over time.
So
Yeah.
this is your story. You went into a karaoke bar, saw this
Yeah.
beautiful
This is
singer,
my
fell head
story.
over heels. Awesome.
This is
Awesome.
my story. This is my story.
It reads like a
Yeah.
novel, and that's a good thing. When real life reads like a novel, that means you're living your life the right way. That's great.
Yeah.
Tell us about walking into that bar and seeing Baby across the way.
Yeah, and so I talk about it in the book, and it was a very random situation. I had because I had never been to this particular bar, and so but I had a couple friends sort of like posting on Facebook about it, and I was like, okay, check them out,
Yeah.
but I was hearing a lot about the drinks. I didn't know anything about karaoke at the time, and I was not a karaoke person at the
Right.
time, and so I go into the bar and order in some drinks, and the karaoke DJ was kind of like setting up, and I'm like, karaoke. I'm asking the bartenders like, what's going on here? Oh yeah, we have a spotlight karaoke, spotlight karaoke, and so it's kind of like a big thing, and give me 1 second though.
Sure.
But yeah, and so I was, and so I had I saw her when she walked in, and I was just blown away. I
Hmm.
mean, really, just blown away. Very beautiful woman, and she got up there to sing. Once, she was like one of the first singers to
Mhm.
get up there and sing, and I was just like, wow. I mean, strong voice, stage presence, and I was just like, oh my God, who is this? And so she was really popular, so I didn't really know how to really, introduce myself. So I think I offered a drink that night
Mhm.
and just kind of like, all right, that's as much as I can do tonight. You know what I mean?
Close.
She's like a star, you know. And
Right.
then a couple other times, I got some more information, found out that was like a regular thing that they were doing on that particular night. I think it was like a Tuesday night. So I was like showing up every night on a
Mhm.
Tuesday. She would always show up, and so I decided, okay, if I need to get her attention, I need to do a song. You know what I mean? So let me come
Yeah.
up with a song. What song can I sing? What song out there kind of matches my voice? So I found like a song by Donnell Jones, and I did the song, and she kind of like gave me a nod, and I was like, is that a nod or
Or just a nod.
which
Was
is
that a
the
good
nod,
nod or a bad nod?
right.
What was the
So
title of the song?
it was Where I Wanna Be.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Very
And
nice.
so yeah, and so got her attention, and so I was able to slide in that particular night. She was kind of like hanging out by herself at the bar, and so I just came over, and introduced myself, and I heard your song last week. It was amazing. Blah blah blah. So we end up having a nice little chat, and we start to just really hit it off.
That's
Start to hit
cool.
it off. Yeah,
Very
yeah. And
cool.
I sort of like pursued her afterwards, and one thing led to another. We end up, talking. So it's
Awesome.
pretty cool. Yeah.
That's great. Now, you describe yourself as a shy guy. You don't look like a shy guy here, but in different settings, people are shy and not shy. How did you summon up the courage to talk to her? Was it that nod that gave you the green light to I can approach her and talk to her?
It was the nod, and I think the nod was a big part of it because I knew at least we can talk about the song. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can leverage the song, like, that was my first karaoke song. How long have you been doing karaoke? I can use that as kind of like my hook to get
Right.
in. So yeah, for sure.
Singing karaoke can be a little nerve-wracking. I mean, there's some people get
Yes.
up there and rock it all the time. They're like living on a prayer and going crazy. But for me and you, we might be a little shaky when we're up there. Were you a little nervous? Were your knees knocking a little bit?
Oh
Tell us
my
what it was
God, I
like.
was nervous beyond belief.
Yeah, I'm
And
sure.
I had, I think I had like one drink, and so, and I was like, okay, they called the alcohol like the liquid courage, and I was
Yeah,
like, okay, I had a little bit of liquid courage, but I was still shaking. I was
yeah,
still nervous,
exactly.
and I'm wondering about my voice is gonna sound right.
Yeah,
Yeah, and even
exactly.
to this day, after years of doing it, I still get nervous whenever I do karaoke.
So now
As far as
karaoke is part of your thing because of baby?
yes,
Yes.
absolutely. And so getting back to the book itself, how did the name come about? She was not like we were not really we would visit karaoke bars to just kind of like sing and participate, but something changed along the after like a couple months of dating, where one of her karaoke buddies, who was actually a DJ, he approached her and asked her like, "Hey, would you be interested in being a karaoke DJ?"
Mm,
And she had thought about it before, but never really taken it seriously. She was like, "Yeah, that would be kind of interesting."
yeah.
I don't know anything about it. And so he was like, "I can teach you." I'm thinking about like, I want to start training other people to do what I'm doing because I'm getting older and blah blah blah. And
Hmm.
so she took that on. We talked about it, and I think it's a great idea, a great opportunity. I mean, you have the presence for it. The voice. You're good with people, and so she, he started to train her and teach her about the equipment. And I was there learning the equipment as well. And that's why I say that karaoke became a big part of the relationship because now, we went from just kind of like the participants and spectators to, hosting events. You
Right.
know what I mean? And so now it's a bigger part of our life. So we both enjoy going and doing it, but now it's work as well. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so it added that other element to it. And so you had that along with, if you read the book, it's there are a lot of characters in the community because
Yeah.
and that's the thing about karaoke. It's a community, it's a culture within itself. And so you have, you know, all these different personality types and characters who are very serious about this
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
I mean, they go out, 2, 3 times a week, sometimes to the same bar, sometimes to different bars, just to sing, and they
Right.
have a catalog of songs. It's they're really serious about this thing.
Yeah, and they're the ones that make it tough. If everybody was going up there like you and me, goofing around a little bit, that'd be one thing. But you got these people who are like karaoke pros, get
Yes,
up there
yes,
and they're gonna sing, like we said, a little Bon Jovi, "Living on a Prayer" or something like that, or whatever it might be. And they're gonna rock it. They're gonna have really strong voices. They're gonna have good moves. And you and I are there like
I know, right?
Star Wars. I love you, Star Wars. Amazing, amazing. That's such a great way to begin a relationship. Are you guys still together? How long has this been going on? What did she think of the book? Those are my next three questions.
So unfortunately, we're not together anymore.
Hmm.
We had a sad little split, but I would say that the our breakup really sort of like, in a sense, gave me a little more fuel to really finish the book,
Hmm.
and it actually, helped me steer the book in another direction,
Yeah.
because again, it was going to be all about just the ups and downs of the relationship. But, once the relationship ended, it was like, okay, now I have this story I need to tell, and it became sort of like this journey of love and karaoke that I just went through. You know what I mean? And so, I had to tell that story because
Yeah.
it was a story of what just happened, this amazing ride that I had just gotten off of, and I want to share it. And it had all the different elements of, you have the characters, you had the culture, you had the love element,
Hmm.
and so it was just so many different things. And again, because it was based on true events, it sort of wrote itself,
Yeah,
and so I just had
exactly.
to just kind of tell it,
Yeah.
and so yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we're glad you did tell the story. It's a wonderful story. Have you thought about this as a film?
I have,
Yeah.
once or twice, and I think it would be really hilarious, actually, with the characters,
Yeah.
because there's so many stories, stories within stories, and there are even stories that I haven't even, I didn't, I decided to like leave out,
All
and
right.
so that, I think it would be really interesting, actually,
I think
you
so
know,
too.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
start spreading the news. Dun, 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 dun. I'm leaving today. That's my karaoke. That's my go-to karaoke song. I don't do any rock and roll. I go right to Sinatra
There
with
you go.
a little martini in my hand, my liquid courage, microphone here, and I'm ready to go. Well, you did a wonderful job with this book, Christopher. It is called Love and Karaoke, a heartfelt and joyful story where finding love in places where you least expect it is part of the fun, especially when you have the courage to sing your heart out and go up and talk to that special someone across the bar on that given night. Chris, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
I appreciate it. What's your go-to karaoke song now? What do you always sing?
Lately, I've had a couple different ones. So I've been trying to mix it up a little bit. Um, Donnell Jones is still my go-to guy, but I like Seal, Kiss from a Rose. That's
Okay. Oh, yeah.
that's a crowd pleaser,
That sounds
and
good.
so I've definitely worked with that one a little bit more. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. You got to go with those crowd pleasers, no doubt. Thanks so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Thank you. Have
My
a great one.
pleasure. Hey, you have a great one as well. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time. This time until next time on Spotlight.